We begin tonight with the Middle East in flames. Israel has formally declared war after that unprecedented multi-pronged terror attack from Hamas.
The ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas has escalated to unprecedented levels following an attack on Israel territory, leaving the local population of the Gaza Strip in a state of despair with no clear resolution in sight. For decades, they have witnessed diminishing hopes for a viable solution that could bring stability in the region in the near term. Now, you might be familiar with the prophetic texts, such as those found in the book of Revelation, Daniel, and Zechariah, characterized by vivid imagery and poetic language, often interpreted as descriptions of what some believe to be apocalyptic scenarios. These ancient scriptures have frequently been applied to contemporary conflicts in the Middle East, particularly those involving Israel. For instance, Ezekiel 38 speaks of a coalition of nations aligning against Israel, while Zechariah 14 portrays the besiegement of Jerusalem. Could these events signal unforeseen shifts in the religious landscape of the country, or represent a defining moment that will leave a lasting impact? Let's delve into these extraordinary occurrences that have left many pondering and seeking explanations. Judaism, Christianity, and Islam each assign a central role to Israel within their respective faiths, emphasizing the country's profound historical and religious significance. This small piece of land, located at the crossroads of Africa and Asia, has held a sacred and cultural importance dating back to ancient times. According to Jewish belief, Israel is considered a sacred inheritance bestowed upon the descendants of Abraham. The events chronicled in the Old Testament unfolded in this land, including the establishment of Jerusalem as King David's capital and the construction of the first and second temples. For Jews worldwide, Israel remains a spiritual homeland, and many have nurtured a long-standing desire to return to this place. In Christianity, Israel holds a pivotal role in comprehending the life and ministry of Jesus. The Holy Land witnessed significant events from Jesus' birth in Bethlehem to his crucifixion and resurrection in Jerusalem, which are central to the Christian faith. Similarly, Islam also regards Israel with deep reverence, particularly due to the extraordinary events associated with Prophet Muhammad's night journey to Jerusalem and ascension to heaven. Jerusalem, as the home of Al-Aqsa Mosque, one of Islam's holiest sites, serves as a major religious and spiritual center for Muslims around the world. Despite the widespread religious significance of Israel, the country's historical and religious importance has been a source of persistent hostilities. Recent events, however, have taken a more ominous turn. So what really happened? At approximately 6:30 a.m., many Israelis were startled by sirens as rockets were launched from the Gaza Strip. Hamas claimed responsibility for firing an initial barrage of 5,000 rockets, while Israel's military reported that 2,500 rockets had been fired. The intensity, sophistication, and timing of this morning attack seemingly caught Israel off guard, despite the country's possession of one of the world's most advanced intelligence networks. Following the attack, Israel initiated a military operation, deploying its fighter jets to carry out airstrikes on the Gaza Strip. In a televised address, Prime Minister Netanyahu declared, "We are at war and we will win." He emphasized the Israeli military's commitment to dismantling Hamas's capabilities. Netanyahu also issued a stark warning to the residents of the Gaza Strip, a densely populated coastal territory of 2.3 million individuals, completely encircled by Israeli air, sea, and land blockades. He urged them to find shelter urgently, although escape routes are virtually non-existent. As night fell, the intensity of the aerial bombardment escalated, resulting in substantial explosions that leveled residential structures, including a 14-story tower located in the heart of Gaza Strip. This surge in violence coincides with a period of significant civil unrest within Israel. The nation has witnessed extensive protests characterized as the largest in its history against Netanyahu's proposed reforms to the Supreme Court, which critics argue undermine the institution's independence. Furthermore, Israel's military faces rigorous scrutiny following the most significant intelligence failure in the country's recent history, spanning 5 decades. Nevertheless, there's another side to this narrative. You've likely encountered prophetic texts, such as the Book of Revelation, Daniel, and Zechariah, which are replete with vivid imagery and figurative language, often interpreted as depicting apocalyptic scenarios, including what some perceive as the culmination of human history. These ancient writings have frequently been linked to contemporary conflicts in the Middle East, particularly those involving Israel. For instance, Ezekiel 38 alludes to a coalition of nations making a move against Israel, while Zechariah 14 portrays the siege of Jerusalem. While theologians and scholars debate these interpretations, certain individuals view the recent escalation between Israel and Gaza through the lens of these eschatological frameworks. It's akin to gazing skyward and witnessing not the usual clear azure skies of an Israeli autumn, but rather a deluge of more than 2,200 rockets descending like fire and brimstone. This barrage is part of an offensive orchestrated by Hamas, the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, and the Socialist Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, known as Operation Al-Aqsa Flood. The operation is named after the Al-Aqsa Mosque, a site laden with significance in both Middle Eastern politics and prophetic beliefs. Some contend that this mosque occupies the Temple Mount, the place where, according to certain interpretations, the end of the world will commence. Israel, resolute and undaunted, swiftly initiates a counter-offensive codenamed Operation Swords of Iron, a term that evokes biblical imagery. In Holy Scriptures, iron often symbolizes strength and divine judgment. The phrase echoes Isaiah 2:4, which speaks of transforming swords into plowshares. Yet here, swords remain instruments of war that have adapted to the exigencies of the moment and perhaps the dictates of fate. For some, these events are not isolated incidents. They are seen as echoing the words of ancient prophets and scribes, whose writings have both captivated and perplexed humanity for centuries. The notion of nation rising against nation, Matthew 24:7, appears to unfold before our very eyes. The gravity of these events, their evolution from mere provocations into a full-scale assault, mirrors a smaller, earthly reflection of a grander, more celestial narrative that has been written but awaits its complete unfolding. Consequently, the year 2023 might be perceived as a harbinger, a prelude to a significant event that both fills people with anticipation and apprehension. Whether one views these events as political maneuvers or pieces being strategically moved on the chessboard of prophecy, their ramifications are immense. In this sense, the region between Israel and Gaza serves not only as a battleground for nations, but also as the backdrop for a tale that could endure for eternity. Picture the vast courtyard of the Al-Aqsa Mosque, its minarets stretching skyward, seemingly reaching out in prayer to the divine. Within this sacred place, individuals who yearn for peace, solace, and perhaps even justice offer fervent prayers. Operation Al-Aqsa Flood, an offensive bearing the name of a revered place of worship cherished by millions, stands in stark contrast to these aspirations for harmony. Nevertheless, beyond the realm of politics, a profound spiritual dimension unfurls, one that cannot be dismissed. The mosque's location atop the Temple Mount, an area of both contention and sanctity, carries eschatological significance. Some biblical scholars reference Psalm 83, which speaks of nations conspiring against Israel, suggesting that this operation might be a part of a larger divine plan. Consider the hallways within the Israeli Defense Headquarters. Here, dimly lit overhead lights cast their glow upon tables where maps sprawl and officers engage in intense discussions. The operation at hand is equally significant. Its name, Operation Swords of Iron, resonates like a biblical reference. In biblical contexts, iron often symbolizes unwavering strength or imminent judgment. For instance, in the book of Daniel, the legs of Nebuchadnezzar's dream statue were made from iron, signifying strength coupled with fragility. Regardless of one's belief in these events as divine signs, they undeniably carry a profound impact on people. These military operations, bearing names imbued with spiritual significance, seem to unfold as if they are following a script written millennia ago by prophets who once etched their stories of yet unborn nations with quill and parchment. This segment, the clash between Operation Al-Aqsa Flood and Operation Swords of Iron, is but a verse in a much lengthier poem. This poem is crafted by the intricate interplay of human will, divine purpose, and the inexorable march of history. The ancient prophets act as storytellers within a narrative still being inscribed, even if the ink has long dried. Understanding the escalating tension between Israel and the Gaza Strip is incomplete without pondering its implications for the future. Prior to the prophesied end times, the book of Daniel speaks of a succession of wars culminating in a time of unparalleled distress, Daniel 12:1. Recent events bear semblance to these words, yet interpretation shapes the belief in whether they herald the fulfillment of prophecies. The year 2023 has been marked by intense strain in relations between Israel and Gaza. What began as minor incidents escalated into large-scale military operations on both fronts, causing loss of life and widespread chaos. From a religious perspective, these events may align with age-old prophecies about the world's end, or they may be viewed as another chapter in the enduring history of conflicts in the region. In any case, these occurrences serve as a stark reminder of the volatile politics in the Holy Land, a place steeped in both divine narratives and deeply human conflicts spanning millennia. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this matter. Please share them in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more captivating content. Thank you for tuning in.